Hi, I have been getting a lot of questions about homeschooling, and I, by all means, do not have all the answers. But I'm creating this video because I'm answering a lot of the same questions over and over, and this way I can respond quicker when they come up. And I'm looking at some notes from a text I got from a friend actually this morning. So the biggest question and concern is about curriculum and how I chose curriculum and what curriculum I chose. This is just, it's so huge, and it is so overwhelming. My daughter was in a private school previously using Abeka. We were already planning on homeschooling her this year, but we did decide to withdraw her during spring break last year because we just kind of didn't know. COVID then was really scary, I think, because we just didn't know what it was going to be. And not that it's not scary now, but anyways, I just wasn't comfortable sending her to school. So we had this, I think my husband finally said that I could homeschool in December. And so I had been studying curriculum for a while. Anyways, I digress. Initially, I was going to do Abeka because she was comfortable with it. She's on track with it. It's an advanced curriculum, but she does very well with it and can keep up with it. I feel like she's ahead because of it. However, I was researching, and some things that didn't appeal to me about Abeka. The other thing is they have an online version where they watch a lesson, they watch a teacher like they're actually in the classroom, and they have their work after that. So that was appealing to me because I do work. I do run 2 businesses, and so I thought that would keep her occupied and I would be able to work. Well, as I started researching and learning a little more about it, some things that didn't appeal to me were it's full of busy work. It's a lot of repetitiveness and memorization, and I don't think that's fun for a little child. I don't think that the busy work is necessary. I feel like Abeka is kind of designed around not maybe more of like, keeping a kid occupied and in school for 8 hours a day, like public school. Then you do have to give them a lot of busy work, right? To keep them all the whole day. So what I've learned is, and it's an opinion, that is not necessary for kids to learn. So that didn't appeal to me. I don't want my kids stuck at a desk for hours upon hours, just to be stuck at a desk. So that didn't appeal to me. The memorization didn't appeal to me. And then the repetitiveness, because I would hate that. And I did find she would get burned out. She's pre-K and kindergarten. She did with Abeka, and she got a little burned out at the end of those years. So I thought, well, I don't know that I want Abeka. So then I learned about Bob Jones. I think it's BJU Press or something. BJUpress.com, I want to say, is the website, but if you look up BJU Press, it's put out by Bob Jones University, and I found their curriculum a little more appealing. They, like Abeka, have the online program, and I want to say it runs about 860 maybe for first grade, and Abeka's 9 something, so they're pretty close. But their videos are much more modern. I don't think I said this about Abeka, but the videos they look like they're from the 80s. And I think that would be hard for a child today to kind of feel like they're engaged with. I felt like the BJU Press videos were much more updated and colorful and designed for the purpose of doing homeschool online, whereas the Abeka ones are kind of just videoing a classroom in session. I also liked it better because it talks about God throughout all of the subjects. So Abeka, you have a Bible class, but they're not necessarily talking about God in math or social studies. So I really liked that. And I also liked that instead of the repetitiveness and memorization, it taught more critical thinking. To me, those are things that are more important, in my opinion, again. So I thought I was going to go that route. And then I came across something called Masterbooks, and that is what I ended up choosing. I purchased that because we stopped. We decided to pull her out mid-spring break. Well, I kind of needed something quick. I did not want to pay for a whole semester of one of the other things when I felt like we were towards the end of the semester, not a lot of new concepts. I could be wrong, but I felt like not a lot of new concepts were going to be introduced. So I bought the Masterbooks program. I had read about it and I felt like I would like it, but I was just not sure if it was enough from when I read about, and I'll elaborate that on a moment. But I bought that because it was like $250 for the year. And I thought, well, that's not a ton of money. I can use it even for the rest of this year, test it out. And if I like it, we'll keep it for next year. And if not, well, it's $250. It's less than the $400 it would cost for a whole semester of Abeka, which we didn't need a whole semester. So we worked on it a little bit. I had bought another workbook that I was working on with her, a first grade workbook. So I tried to do that and the Masterbooks at the same time, and it was too much. So I just stuck with the workbook. But we had enough of a taste of the Masterbooks to kind of see how it would work. And so long story short, I decided to stick with that. I'm going to stick with it for another semester. We're going to go through a whole semester of it and kind of make our decision. If I feel like she needs a little more, then I will probably go on to the BJU Press and try that. But let me talk about Masterbooks now. So what I heard over and over and over and over was that it's a gentle approach. And I don't even know how to describe this, but complete opposite of just the rigor and push and constant repetitiveness that my daughter had experienced with Abeka. So that was appealing to me. And I would hear parents say that they get through it really quickly in an hour or two. And I just thought, wow, how is that going to be enough? However, we have been doing it. We started school we're on day 4. And it is very gentle. So she's not getting too frustrated. She may not be quite stimulated enough, but we are at the beginning of the semester. So I do think it's going to get better and more intense for her. Trying to think what else. So Masterbooks, the curriculum, they talk about God in every subject. So we talk about God in math and social studies and science. I love how they put it with science. And she has a Bible class that I call it a Bible class. I think it's considered Bible. It is where we study scripture, but it also, it teaches a lot of character. And so I really like that. Like, we've learned what dependable is. We've learned what being humble means. So I'm really enjoying that. And I think, that will make her a better person too in the end. So I'm going to read the questions. So that's how I decided my curriculum. Those are the 3 that I know the most about. I would say probably your homeschool moms that are experienced, it's not the word seasoned maybe. I think the norm, honestly, is to combine different curricula for what fits your child. And that's the beauty of homeschool. We can do that. If your child's ahead in math and you like this certain curricula for that, then do that, because certainly not one curricula is going to be perfect in everything either. And there was a time I was going to mix and match. I was going to do Abeka Phonics, BJU Press for, I don't know, some other things. And then I was going to do a Montessori style math, but I decided just to stick with the whole Masterbooks series for this one, for my kind of ease. Otherwise, you're kind of like learning how each curriculum operates and how to present it. I won't say teach, but present it. Also, your child, if your child is new to homeschool and having to adjust to that, I think it's easier on them to have it the same because it's just kind of all in the same kind of flow and what each one expect. And I don't know, I mean, that may not be true, but I find it a little easier on me that way. But yeah, the norm, I think, is just to combine. And we will probably get into that. So I want to say too, you're going to start somewhere and then you may find it does work or it doesn't work. And I think that's the norm. I think that happens. I hear of parents, trying something, it doesn't work, and they just try something else. And because you're going to constantly be learning. And up until I still have doubts about what I've chosen, and I was questioning it still 2 weeks ago. Maybe I will change it, maybe it's not enough, but we're getting into it, and I'm feeling a little better. We do finish in about an hour though every day, and that's math, science, phonics, her little Bible, and social studies. So that sounds crazy, but we do. And she learns every day. We learned this morning, we learned about the speed of light and how God created that light. That was nice. And she's learning about right angles this week in math. And social studies, we're learning a town and what makes up a town, and taxes and a mayor and stuff like that. And trying to think, what's the other subject? Is there another subject that I feel like I'm missing out? Oh, and I talked about Bible and how it's a lot of character building, so I like that. So I just say all of that because she really is learning a lot, and each day, and it's just a little bit, and it's just enough. The topic is introduced, she does a little exercise with it, and then you know what, that's it. We don't have to talk about it for an hour and then do an hour of paperwork. You don't. And it really is sticking with her. Okay, I'm gonna move on to my next question. How am I going to maintain socialization? Okay, so in our area, in Kingwood, Texas, we have an organization. If I knew the exact name, it would be good. I want to say the Heart Homeschool Group. I think it's heart.org or something like that. But it's almost like a Christian support group for homeschool parents. And there are some sister organizations with it, and one is called Home Run Ministries, and they offer what's called Super Friday. And so for my daughter, who's 6, and also my 2-year-old is going to be able to participate. I think it starts at 2 and goes to 6, or I'm sorry, goes on for a long time. It doesn't stop at 6. Sorry. They are going to go on Fridays, and it's called Super Friday. And at that age, it's a bunch of activities for them to do. They get to socialize that way. And as they get older, I think at 3rd grade, they have an actual elementary academy. And I don't know a lot about it. I don't know a lot about even the Super Friday thing. I just know I hear I've always heard about it in the homeschool world. And so I knew I wanted to sign up. But anyway, the academy, I think they do a math and I want to say English class on Friday. So that's kind of nice to have a teacher kind of back up what you're teaching. But that would be later for most of the parents I'm talking with. So I know that's only one day of socialization. Tuesdays are park days for the homeschool community. And I think that is more the Heart group. There's a lot of little groups and organizations, and I don't have them all straight yet, but I want to say the park days are part of Heart. And Heart is $25 a year to join. So I highly recommend joining that and attending the meetings. I've only been to one meeting because that's all they've had since I've joined, but it was wonderful. And I think the next one's in September. And then from there, they're every month. But so they have park days on Tuesdays. So that's only 2 days. That's enough for my daughter. And then she doesn't mind being at home, but I know that's not the case for every child. She will probably be in some other extracurricular activities. I don't know, she does play tennis, and she's wanting to go back to dance. So stuff like that, if you have another activity on another day or every day, then that gets them to socialize too. May or may not be enough. People are going to have their own opinions of that. And it may not be enough for your child, but for now, it's enough for mine. And I probably need to organize a little more. I think it'd be very easy to probably get a group maybe in the neighborhood, and maybe you meet at the park once a day for a break, especially now with the COVID stuff. And a lot of the schools have already decided to start school online, even if they're not going to be the traditional homeschool kids. Right now, there may be more kids to kind of create a little outing at the park, if that's something parents are comfortable with. That's probably hit and miss with each parent. So those are my plans now for socialization. And again, I don't know if that's enough, but that's what we're going to be doing. And it says, what about specials like art, music, computer, and PE? Okay, there is some curricula for all of those things. I don't know anything about all of those things. I have not started anything. There are art classes, and you can get information about that. I think I found it like through the Heart Group somehow. But I know there is a teacher that teaches art that you can take your child to. You do have to pay for that. But I get that would be another, socialization, a way they can socialize. But I know like Abeka has an art curriculum. I'll probably just maybe end up getting that to have on hand, because I think it's a lot of easy crafts and stuff that they can kind of do on their own at our children's ages. Music, my daughter does take piano lessons, or she did pre-COVID. We haven't since. And I had talked to her piano teacher, because it was also her music teacher at her school, about doing a music class as well if it was necessary, because she was learning so much in music. Like, I don't remember learning what my daughter was learning in music, but it blew my mind. And maybe I did and just don't remember learning it. We were going to talk about that later, and I haven't got to that because of the whole COVID thing. So I don't really have an answer for that. I have seen things like music theory online, but I don't know. I think that's probably for older children. So I don't really have a good answer for music. There is probably something, but you would probably be looking at, again, spending money on another class, I guess, on something they may want to learn. Computer. I have nothing on computer. It sounds like this person maybe they had computers in their school. My daughter did not have computer in pre-K or kinder, and I'm okay with that. That's not something I'm concerned with. I feel like they pick it up pretty quickly, more so than us. And it's just not a concern of mine. When it becomes time, there's plenty of typing curricula. And I'm sure this could be an elective to somewhere. There's probably something, but I don't have any experience right now. I don't even allow my child to spend the only time she gets on a computer is if she's doing ABC Mouse, and I mean, maybe a couple times a month. She's not even that into it. I really try to limit that the best I can. And I know my time's running out with being able to do that. PE, I don't really have a good plan for PE. My oldest is not that interested in things beyond a little tennis. She'll do a little tennis and park play. That certainly would count as PE. Parents will count playing in the backyard as PE. There are there's something called sport ball. Of course, that would just be like once a week. But if you wanted to sign up for something like that, if your child was interested, there are things like that. And of course, extracurricular soccer, that's not daily. And I don't even know what public schools do for PE anymore, like how often. I know it's not enough. But I don't really have a plan. I try to get them out to play if the weather allows, or we go to the pool. To me, PE, if they can just be active. And as she gets a little older, I will certainly be introducing finding classes. That is that was my background, kinesiology. So it is something I'm passionate about, and I do feel like it's something our children need to learn about. But right now she's 6, and I just try to let her be active, and I don't even talk about, PE. Was my husband on board, or was he opposed? My husband has never been happy with the thought of homeschool. I really don't even know how I got him to agree to it. But pre-COVID, he's a little more settled with it now, a little, but he's still like, we're going to see how this year goes, and then we'll see. I'll see what I think about it, is what he says. So while he isn't, I wouldn't say totally on board, I let him make the decision. I put my case out there, I'd like to do it. She doesn't, I just put my thoughts out there and why I thought we needed to do it. And at least for now, I'm not saying we're going to do this forever, but right now it is a fit for her. So that's his thoughts. His experience with homeschool kids is a little different than kind of what I see in our community. It's, we're a busy suburb of Houston, so it's huge, lots of activities available. His experience with homeschool kids came from totally different West Texas ranch kids who were homeschooled so that they could go out and work. So certainly that affected them much different than I feel kids in Kingwood, Texas are doing with homeschool, because of the additional activities that are available. There really is so much available for them to do. And I read a post from a friend during Christmas last week, and she said, a Facebook post, she said, people worry about homeschool kids having enough socialization. And she said, it's the moms who don't have social, or the parents who don't have socialization, because we're always driving our kids to their activities. So that is one thing. A lot of things that your kids would be getting in the public school system, you will have to make maybe a little more effort to get them out and exposed to these things outside of school. But that does, I think, can become a social experience for them. So I think that's it for now. I've answered all the questions that was asked of me today. If you have any more questions, feel free to post them below. And I will do my best to answer them. I hope you all have a great day. Bye.